Well, good morning, class. I just wanted to kind of recap your defense against liability. Most of you did a great job. In fact, all of you did. I just want to kind of cover a couple things. I was reading and I can't remember which post it was, but about the weightlifting class where somebody said they probably shouldn't have taken them outside because it was all weightlifting. Well, I taught a weightlifting class for years, and I can tell you that we always went outside one day a week. That was part of it, just to break up the monotony and to give them something that was aerobic, to get them outside and not only to break up the monotony, but because you need a day of rest at least. And even though we went upper body, lower body, and we did different things, different type of workouts, you need that break. So it's not unusual to take a class outside and give them an activity to do. But the key is there. You do have to pay attention to what kind of shoes they're wearing if you're doing an activity. I question the fact that he had running shoes on with a high platform for weightlifting, because sometimes when you're squatting, that's not too good. So you do have to pay attention to what they wear to make sure it's safe. And that's something you tell them early on. More importantly, what bothers me or what worries me is when we have a substitute in a class like that, weightlifting class, because that substitute really doesn't know all the safety issues. And for you to write it down in every lesson, you can't do it. So you almost have to have an alternative activity for them to do. So taking them outside would not be really a bad thing to do, but make it a safe activity as well. And maybe leave instructions for that substitute to check their shoes and see if it's safe for them to play in that. And I would also say there's no sliding in softball. That would eliminate that problem. So you have to think of all those kind of things. And that was in the softball situation. Now, in the dive situation, well, I understand pushing athletes. You want to get them past that, get them to think more confidently in themselves and their abilities. I get that. But he may have wanted to spend more time in practice building that confidence instead of just, pushing her in a competition. So I question that a little bit. I don't think, he was totally out of line there, but I would probably spend more time in preparing that athlete in practice. And in football, flag or touch, it doesn't matter. It's it's going to happen. Things like that are going to happen. I don't think it was totally reckless, and that's what most of you said. For something like that to happen, you step on a finger. That happens. Maybe the way he knocked her over. But one thing I do know, we used to go outside and play ultimate frisbee on our days where we came out of the weight room, and that was an aerobic activity. And excuse me, that's a lot like football, and you have to supervise that, and you have to be right there all the time. And it does get out of hand sometimes, and you got to stop it. And sometimes you got to pull people out of the game. I don't know how many times I had to do that. I had all guys and maybe a few girls in the class, and it got pretty aggressive. So you have to pay attention to those kind of things. So those are just three examples. There are many more I'm sure you can think of, but I think these and these are real situations. They've happened, I think, at our school. Most of them, we didn't have a broken neck in swimming, but we've had situations similar. A couple things I just want to remind you of in your assignments. Use APA formatting, and I know some of you haven't had a chance to even get acquainted with that yet. Maybe you have, but use APA format. It's a style of writing that the university requires, and a lot of universities require the same thing. And good resources, Purdue OWL. It's in your syllabus, and I think I put it on the announcements, but reference that. Check your spacing, your fonts, and your headings. So important to lead the reader, me, to your answers. You put your heading up there and then right under it. And basically, level 1 and level 2 headings, maybe level 3 headings, and you can find that in your APA formatting. And Purdue OWL will explain it there. But headings are so important. And then references at the end. When you're writing a scholarly paper, it's really, it gives credibility to it when you cite and reference. So cite and reference in any scholarly paper that you turn in. And another thing, follow the rubrics or directions. I mean, if there's a rubric like there was on your waiver, follow it item by item, because that's what I'm looking at. And I go, I write down the rubric, and if you're missing something, then you lose points on it. So follow the rubric, follow the directions, and you'll be fine there. And most of you are doing a great job. I just want to caution you, please post on time. I did open up, a couple of the quizzes and assignments till the 26th. I dated them because there were some people that had a problem with getting the book. But from now on, please get it in on time. Make every effort to do that. And if you have any questions or something comes up, email me, and I'll try to get back to you within 24 hours or less. But anyway, you're doing a great job. I appreciate it. If you have any problems with the videos, I think most of you are getting it. Follow the directions there too. Once you get it, it's a piece of cake. You'll be fine. And that's it. And I'll be seeing you, and I look forward to reading your next week's forums. Thank you, and God bless.